Thank you, Mrs. Graham, for helping us out with the pomp and circumstance. Appreciate that very much. And I welcome all of you to our August 2021 commencement ceremony. My name is Richard DeMalley. I am Gloversville High School principal. And at this time, I am going to ask graduate Mr. Jonathan Hernandez to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Come on up, Jonathan. You can give him a round of applause.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today we will honor 14 graduates, with 9 being present. And to welcome all of you today is our superintendent, Mr. David Halloran.
Hey, I think Mr. Savio was going to clap unless I stopped him. Thank you for being here tonight. Same podium I think we had at graduation. Struggle, I got to hold this thing up. I'll be brief. I want to congratulate our 14 graduates, 9 who are here. Now's the time to hit down and start running. You have tools, you have the experience, gaining the wisdom to go off into the world and make something of yourselves. Be the best version of yourselves you possibly can. Each and every day. Each and every day you wake up, you yourself a little wiser, a little more marketable, a little more worldly, whatever that means. Work, hobbies, experience, reading, continue to educate yourself. The world is waiting for you, whether it's employment, the workforce, that is employment, military, continuing your education. You've shown basic aptitude, the ability to work, to achieve the high school diploma. What you've done up to this point in 13 years of public education, kindergarten through 12th grade, is just a footnote for what you're going to do the rest of your life. People on the stage, family and friends in the crowd will tell you that some of us who are getting older don't remember high school because our lives have been so rich since. So you sit on the cusp of adulthood, you sit with a high school diploma soon to be in your pocket, you have all the tools to go and make big tracks across the land and be part of the solution in this country. We need solution finders. You're it. Your generation is going to be handed a world that's increasingly interconnected, and in some ways, unfortunately, increasingly divided. So it's going to be up to your generation to start putting those pieces back together and help each other, treat each other better. Lead by example. Be kind to others. All the faith-based religions of the world talk about, turning the other cheek or being a better person. Forgiveness. That's a good place to start. And look within yourself. Try to be the best version of yourself you can be each and every day. Whatever that means for you. Okay, so congratulations. We wish you the best. I'm a Gloversville graduate. Assistant Superintendent Wojcicki is a Gloversville graduate. Many of these board members are Gloversville graduates. Maybe sometime in the future you come back and give back to your school community in some capacity as well. So thank you for being here. Family, congratulations to those of you who helped us get here. And let's go on with the commencement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Superintendent Halloran. With our commencement message is the leader of our summer school programs and our associate principal, Mr. Dennis Spott.
Good evening. First, First, let me join the superintendent in congratulating each of you on this outstanding accomplishment, including the family members who, many of you feel like you're graduating as well. Great job, parents. Congratulations. Yeah, but many parents work as hard or as harder as these kids. Get them up, get them out, get them to do what they're supposed to do. More than once over the last 8 years, I've heard a student say, I don't care about that ceremony. I don't want to go. And grandma says, we're going, I earned it. So, congratulations, parents, nice job. So, whether you're that student getting their diploma early, which we have 2 of, or the one who simply didn't complete a course over the course of the year, or for a few of you, a couple of you, there were some things in life that took them away from school for a little while, and it took them a little bit to catch up. And that's what they did all summer. COVID was a big reason for that. So whatever the reason for the delay, today I am very, very proud of each and every one of you. Many of you I know personally from sitting in the passenger seat of my car coming to school. But I would just say that in high school, it wasn't easy. And it's really not supposed to be easy. Life isn't easy. If it were, there'd be 47 more of you standing right next to you. High school is hard. There's a quote that I often think of, when the ceremony comes around, and it goes, there is no chance, no destiny, no fate that can circumvent, hinder, or control the firm resolve of a determined soul. Awful lot of words in there that some of you don't hear all the time. There's no chance, no destiny, no fate that can circumvent, hinder, or control the firm resolve of a determined soul. Simply put, nothing can stop you if you decide to do something and are willing to do the work necessary to reach that goal. And that is true in virtually all aspects of life. Loversville High School, as you guys know, was really a great, great place to learn. We teach young people the basic skills required to live, reading, writing, arithmetic, to the highest level possible within each student's individual capacity. But we also try to teach character traits that our society expects. We teach students to be respectful. We teach time management. We teach teamwork. We teach lots and lots of things. But still, some traits you have to learn on your own, or some of you just have naturally, and others you make a conscious decision to learn. And one of those traits is perseverance, or I like the word tenacity. Dictionary defines perseverance as a steady persistence in a course of action, especially in spite of difficulties, obstacles, or discouragement. And that's what that quote was all about. A determined soul doesn't believe in fate or chance or destiny. A determined soul creates its own fate, its own destiny. Doesn't leave things to chance. So graduates, let me ask you, raise your hand if you've experienced difficulties getting to this point. If you've faced obstacles graduating or faced discouragement from others who maybe didn't believe, pick your hand up if that fits you. 1, 2, 3, everybody else was gone. Well, lower your hands, you 3, thank you. How about the rest of us in the audience? Raise your hand if you experience difficulties, obstacles, or discouragement along your way in life. Keep your hands up for a moment. Graduates, take a look around. Life is hard. We all face challenges. How we respond to those challenges is a large part of who we are as individuals. So, I'm particularly proud of you guys. What you have demonstrated for the world to see is you will not quit. No matter how hard the job, no matter the difficulties you encounter, the obstacles in your way, or the discouragement you might hear from others. They don't know your spirit. They don't know your tenacity. So now that I know, and more importantly, you know, you can do what you put your mind to. It takes a little work. So it's time for you to decide what's next. Go write your own story. Go take a college class. Go talk to a military recruiter. Go find the dream job. Decide what you want to do next, and then use the same tenacity and perseverance that you demonstrated here to reach this goal. I believe in you. If you do as well, there are no limits. Go find your happiness. You are well equipped to join society and succeed in life. And I look forward to seeing what's next in each of your chapters. You know where I'm here, you know where I'm at. If you guys need me, just because you're leaving this building, this is through your high school. Thank you all again, and congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Bai. At this time, I will be announcing the graduates, but before I do that, I would like to inform our Board of Education that Mr. Bai and I have the honor to certify on behalf of the Boulevard Elementary School District that these students whose names will be announced have completed the requirements and are to receive a Gloversville High School diploma. The first graduate that we'll ask to come up, graduates, please stand. First graduate we'll ask to come up and receive their diploma is Trent Anderson. Next is Chloe Edwards. Jonathan Hernandez. Makai Lanier. Daisy King. Nathaniel Julia. Shalay Lee. Beviana Rodriguez. Kyle Smith. These students were unable to be here tonight, but I want to recognize them as Gloversville High School graduates. Salem Albee. Dominic Anadio III. Matthew Pitcher. Nicholas Spraker. And Austin Wadle. So before I actually confirm these diplomas, I want to send you off with my message. Be very brief. What I'd like to say is I would also like to thank our parents. I'd also like you to look on the back of your programs and give a special shout out to our school counselors, two of them who are here tonight in the back there, Mrs. Sheila Autilio and Mrs. Molly Darcy. Give them a wave. And also have Mrs. Sage Fulgen and Miss Brittany Burgraff. We thank them for all their efforts. So graduates, you heard many, many words of wisdom tonight, and I would just like to piggyback off of what we had today was our first day of school for the 21-22 school year. We welcomed our freshmen. I told the seniors today, it's your first day of high school. We had a wonderful motivational speaker, and the message that the motivational speaker had was this, and it kind of aligns with what Mr. Bai had mentioned and Superintendent Haller. Have a vision. Have your vision. You now have one of the cornerstones to your foundation, which is now your high school diploma. Now it's just like Superintendent Haller had said, create your path. And you create your path by finding a vision. Once you have your vision, just as Mr. Bai said, and what you've already done is, you fail. You noticed everybody in here, and even myself, raise their hand. You fail to learn those experiences. But it makes, when you get to the vision, just so much sweeter. And whatever that is. Get rid of your naysayers. Don't listen to them. Stay the path, and I guarantee you're going to be very, very successful. So I wish you the best of luck. And at this time, we're going to officially call graduates. So I would like you to stand up. By the authority of the Gloversville and Lawrence School District, I declare the members of the class of 2021 to be graduates of Gloversville High School with the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to that honor. I ask now that you change your tassels from the right side of your mortarboard and move them to your left. You are officially Gloversville High School alumni. Congratulations to this class of 2021. That is the official end of our ceremony. Parents and graduates, we have some refreshments out for you in the A lobby. Those of you that are here for the meeting, that will officially start at 6:30 and 7 minutes. So thank you all for attending. Please join us for some cupcakes and water, I think is out there. And have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
call the meeting to order. Please rise to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks for coming tonight. Our first item is a presentation from CSR Internal Construction.
Hi, my name is Mike Eggers. I'm project manager and principal with CSR. I'm here today to provide an update on the 2020 capital project and where we stand with design. At this point, what we have is all the board members have a handout presentation that we're going to share on the Promethean board. I'm here with Caitlin Daly, who's a project architect with CSR, who's a member of the project team. She's the project team. And Bob Grady from Turner Construction, your construction manager. So as we go through this presentation, I want to touch on some specific items. We want to provide an update for you on site work and playgrounds at all of the school districts, the elementary schools specifically. We want to talk about the pod renovations at the middle school, corridor renovations, and then Bob is going to finish the budget and schedule. Some of the things that we didn't include in this package that are in the project is we have roofing at almost all district buildings except for the middle school. Middle school would be in the next capital project. Their roofs are still under warranty. They're new, although there are issues. We also have secure vestibules going in each of the district academic buildings. So we'll have full secure vestibules with bulletproof glazing and transaction windows on those components. There's nothing great on the slideshow to really show you for that scope, so we stuck to pictures. The first area we're going to talk about is site work. And the first building that we have up on the screen is for Boulevard Elementary School. And at Boulevard, we are completely replacing all elements of the existing playground that are over next to the basketball courts that we created in the last capital project. What you see in the next slides are the playgrounds that are designed for these spaces are specifically for the future age students in the building, so the grades 3 through 5. In all of the elementary schools with playgrounds, we had our site designers, Caitlin, and the local building administrators meet and make selections on specific pieces of equipment. So this all really started with design input from principals and admin at each point. You can see in some of the renderings, some of the specific playground pieces that are at Boulevard. There are climbers, there are crab traps. That's a newer piece of equipment. It should be really fun for the kids on the crab track. Did you see the page we're talking about? The thing with all the climbing here. The next page is more playground equipment. So it's a huge, this is actually the back side of one of the slides on the other. This is not a completely separate. That's the back of the one in the background. Just a close-up on it on the other angle. It's a lot of playground equipment. The district is making a great commitment to the students and to parents that live in the neighborhoods of these. So you're going to have really nice facilities for playground equipment in all the buildings. Some of the components are bridges, ramps, climbers, slides, overhead events, sports and fitness. Everything will have accessible features. Everything will have accessible ramps provided to them from paved walks. And swings. The next building is McNabb. At McNabb, we're keeping a portion of the existing playground equipment, which is more vintage and in good shape. And we're supplementing it with some additional special needs specific playground equipment. So there we're looking at students of the potential age range of pre-K to age 12. There's a lot of age dependence that goes into playground equipment. So you'll see different age groups with different types of equipment. We want to keep it for the clients that are in the district or in the building itself. Some of the items at McNabb, there are bridges and ramps, climbers, swings, accessible features, overhead events, slides, and sports and fitness components. At Park Terrace, which is the next slide, we are moving the two existing older playground structures that are down by the track that was repurposed for a playing field last capital project. We're removing those, and we're creating a brand new play area, which is up by where the old tennis courts were. In the last capital project, we turned those tennis courts into parking up top of the hill. Now we're going to create another playground that's right next to the existing newer playground up on top of the hill. We also, as part of this project, are going to put in a gate so that if the district chooses to, you can close an area of the parking lot between those two playgrounds, and you can use that as an exterior paved area for students during the day. It is gated, so you can open that back up. So if you wanted to turn that over for event parking for athletic events, the district could choose to do that. The other thing that we're doing on where the pavilion is, so you have your existing pavilion, there's a playground next to that. We're taking up that playground, we're going to put a stone aggregate surface in, so the district can also choose to use that for additional parking for events, athletic events at your main field. We are also widening the road that goes down behind the building. We're adding a little bit more width to that existing drive, so you can safely have two-way traffic a little bit easier to get rid of any congestion. We're also, as part of the project, replacing a number of the fence sections that go from the athletic end of things to the building end of things where those playgrounds are. They're overgrown and in pretty rough shape. At Park Terrace, you can see the rendering of the playground equipment that we're looking at going in there. Again, in this building, we're dealing with pre-K to second grade. So we have bridges and ramps, timers, swings, different accessible features, overhead events, slides, sports and fitness. There's another, which is just a different view of that same structure. Next building we have for you is Kingsborough Elementary School. So at Kingsborough, we are remediating the existing soil from the contaminated area of the site. That is becoming a playground. We are also developing a flat play area to the left of the parking lot, which would be about 100 feet by 100 feet as a green space play area that would be developed for students there. So a nice size, smaller play area. This new layout involves parking, so the bus drop-off is in front of the building, right by the main door, so those students have direct access in. It's one way in only. When you get to the parking lot from the main road, that's where parent drop-off is and visitor parking. And then people would work way down into the larger parking area. So we've segregated parents and drop-off homes closest to the building in the new parking lot. Faculty and staff and visitor parking on the lower end. One of the entry into the parking area that is furthest away from the building is entry and exit. The one closest to the building is two-way in, and it's entry only. We also, along the front side of the building, we put in some playground equipment during the last capital project. We're doubling that, putting a lot more equipment in the backside. We also have a portion of the existing big lot, which is going to be turned over for a paved play area for students. Behind it, a smaller area that's grass that would be for student play also, that would all be fenced in. So we're taking the majority of the student playground play space to that back side of the building, away from the roads and parking lots. There's a lot here, I apologize for, but you guys have a full agenda. I'm just buzzing through.
No, we do have a full agenda, but any questions so far? I don't think this is the first time they've been seeing it. We've been going.
No, this is all refinements and development from prior meetings. The next sheet is what some of the playground equipment looks like at Kingsborough. And half the equipment at Kingsborough that's in this rendering is existing. It's out there now. We're just making it wide and providing some additional pieces. The next building would be the high school. You can see at the high school, we haven't done a lot of, we've refined the details. We haven't refined the layout. And the approach is for parents that are coming up Lincoln to drop students in the high school, you would pull into the parking lot right by where the solar fields are. At that end, there would be a dedicated lane for parents to drive up and drop students all the way up towards the building along the sidewalk. So there's a safe way for parents to drop off students to get into the building, and then they can head right back down Lincoln Street if they choose. If you're coming to the campus, dropping a student at the high school from the middle school side of campus, you would come around the front of the high school like you do now, but you would pull into the drop-off area directly in front of the main entry of the building. There would be visitor parking there, accessible parking there, and that entire zone would be for parent drop-off that either wanted to head down Lincoln or loop around back towards the middle school and exit site that way. So with this approach, you have a 2-lane road which you can keep open at all times. You have 2 dedicated parent drop-off areas depending on which direction you're coming to the site from. And you don't have to bring anyone through the parking lots like you're doing currently. Just as an adder to this, where our new parking lot ends at the end of at the east end of the parking lot, we're leaving approximately 60 feet of area between our edge of pavement and the fence for the solar array. You have 60 feet to push snow. So we have factored that into this design. That as we work through these designs and we work with the district and we work with Chad, that all these layouts are based on people moving as quickly as possible, snow moving as quickly as possible. So those elements have factored in. The next area is pod renovations. We're doing renovations at the center area of the 6th grade pod and the 7th grade pod at the middle school. What you see in the middle school 6th grade pod is that the area which is not a general open area is going to be broken down and developed into a space that's for a large group construction. You could fit up to 16 to 18 students in it for specialized classes or specialized sessions. We would have 1 office, so if there were social workers, psychologists, someone that wanted to come into the pod for office use, or you could put any full-time dedicated staff in that space. And then we would have another room which would be a breakout room. We did some of the renderings just to show you that between the new rooms in the center of pods and the general area that's walking, it's almost all glass. So you can see through all of these rooms. There's glass almost between the rooms. If it's not a marker board or doesn't have locker on the wall, it's glass. So that if students are in there, you can see them pretty well. So we're looking for.
Is that all tempered glass?
Everything here is a tempered glass. Yes, I think it's all tempered. Everything is, because they're all technically 1 hour rated, so they have to.
Fisher? It's not the glass we're using in our vestibule, secure vestibule?
Nope, it isn't, it wouldn't have the secure film on it, and it isn't bullet system. It's tempered glass so that if someone hits it or there's an impact, it shatters, or it holds together actually. It holds together the film so that you can't get injured. Is there thought that you might want a different level of? None of the glass is that kind of glass in these areas, so.
If we have secured vestibule, I mean, that should be plenty.
Yes, yep, we're securing.
Still, it's a fishbowl. It's a fishbowl nonetheless.
It's fishbowl. The goal is fishbowl. In the 6th grade pod, in one of the renderings, you can see that what's the request in elevated areas, and we can get around 2 classrooms where students in an area on the raised platforms will be carpeted. So that if a teacher still wants to bring students out, they have bleachers now to do a similar function in the 6th grade pod. We're also replacing all of the lockers that are currently in that wing. With the 7th grade pod, the approach is similar here because the students are a little bit older. They didn't see the need to have the stage area or the riser area outside. Here we concentrate on having a larger LGI room, a student breakout room, which could be for special projects. And then in this case, we did 2 offices. And again, you can see some of the glass and the furniture and the intention with those spaces. We want clear visibility in and out. The offices are the only spaces, actually, all of this do have window shades on the inside, so if there was a lockdown, you're able to draw a shade and shelter in place. So we do have shades, window shades coming in. In the offices, if full-time staff is going to be in there, I'm guessing those shades would be down a considerable amount of time. When they raise them, you can see straight through. So it really depends on the use of space once it's built. But we want to be sure that you can shelter in place in any of these spaces that are glass. Corridor renovations, this is just a refresher. Originally in the project, I don't think we had a lot of corridor refresh at Park Terrace. Park Terrace has had a number of leaks over the past number of years. So what we have built into the project is cleaning up and replacing ceilings in all the corridors at Park Terrace, first and second floor, and straightening walls, getting rid of any plaster that's been damaged. Larger format tiles, some more modern colors, replacing the lockers with a little bit more up-to-date lockers from the original vintage when the building was built. Is there anything on design? I do apologize for buzzing through.
Any concerns with any of the work that were selected? It's going to look beautiful. It's done. A lot of the things we're doing, obviously the functionality, what we sold it as safety, functionality, and aesthetic. The high school parking lot and traffic pattern, the inside of this corridor. This room right here as well, Mike, is getting renovation, correct?
In this room, we're replacing the theatrical lighting, we're replacing the sound system completely, we're refinishing the stage, we're replacing the rigging for the stage lighting, we're adding blackout films so these curtains can go in and you can actually darken the room. We are replacing, these are very secure today, they were rickety last time we were in here. We're in the stairs with new stairs to get up on the stage. What am I forgetting?
Is there going to be a railing?
Yes, there'll be railings on both sides. We're also going to design it so that it's part of a modular system, so that if you were doing something with a large orchestra pit, or you wanted them to be centered, you could move them to different areas, just with more flexibility, instead of being forced to do these two sides. I think that's it from this one.
Yeah.
So just to quickly touch on the budget and schedule, you can see on the second to last page here, we are right about where we want to be as far as the budget. Right now, we're showing about $300,000 over the total referendum. But you can see up in the more detail that we are carrying some hefty allowances. So Mike and his team are just getting done with the abatement allowance. So we see almost got $1 million there. We're not finding that much asbestos in the report. I mean, to get the preliminary findings back, we haven't got the full report yet. So that's a number that will go down. As well as the design contingency. Now that we're getting into the design development and to the construction documents, that percentage can go down. We'll expect it to go down when we see Mike's construction documents here at the end of this week. So we're in good shape even with all the added scope. Like Mike mentioned, some of the corridors we added in and some of the things we added since the schematic design estimate where we were under budget. So I think we're in a great spot right there. And like I said, we're going to get the construction documents, so basically the SED set, the final documents by the end of next week. We'll work with our team, so by the beginning of October, we should have the final estimate for the final documents and really see where we stand. But again, I think we're in good shape here, where we want to be. And then as far as schedule, sticking with the same schedule, we're still looking good to go out as soon as we can. We're pushing for the approval no earlier than February, beginning of February of 21, and we want to be ready to go to hit the street and go bid as soon as we get that SED approval. So we're on track for all that. I believe SED times have been great.
SED times right now for review, architectural are 2 to 4 weeks. Engineering is for 6 weeks, but they have very few managers. And the managers are adding significant workload and time to the project review. So 8 to 10 is probably, 8 to 10 to 8 to 12 is probably reasonable. or when we submit to when we'll have final approval. CSR is finishing up the SED set by the end of this week, actually. We're gonna have that finished, turned over to Turbo estimated. We're gonna hold it and submit to SED in November so that we can time our approval to be when we need it to be in February of '22. So we're in good shape in design moving forward, and we're gonna turn it over to Bob Steve for estimating. If the estimate for the SED set comes in higher than anticipated, then we start looking at it as alternates, and we start saying, what scope of work do we get pricing on, within the worst case scenario, we're going to be able to afford. Right now, we're all in, everything's a project that's come up as a request that can reasonably accomplish without significant funds.
Bob, the remediation of the soil at Kingsborough, how much is that of this budget?
It's about 3 million, just under 3 million total. So it's a big chunk. And that 3 million is the cost to remove it.
Remove it and bring it up,
Just putting, maybe 12 feet of soil back in to develop a great parking lot. We have a lot of, because we're at the creek on that side, what you'll see developed in this set is, we have a lot of detention structures to hold stormwater so that stormwater leaves the site and that towards the stream very slow. So because we're taking all that soil out of the parking lot, we don't have to do demo to add 4-foot-high water detention structures with crushed stone around them under the parking area. So, there are things like that are in our paper. We would have had to dig 6 feet of it up anyway, even if it was good soil. So that's in there to go. Boulevard roof.
Oh, yeah, if you want a quick update on Boulevard Roof, I'm sure some of you see some construction going on there, so we weren't supposed to get the materials in the middle of September. We did catch somewhat of a break, a bunch of bad news. We did get some early. We jumped on in the last 10 days, used every day we can without rain. We did get the two largest areas on the second story done prior to this weekend. So right now, we're just working on the detailing on the edge of that. We'll do that throughout the week, and we'll there will be tear-offs again for the weekend, so we'll work Saturday and Sunday, try to do the tear-offs that we put, and then during the week, we'll just work on the detailing work around the perimeter and edges. The last material we're waiting on is the paper insulation, that's for the lower area, and that's still on track to get here on 15th of September, so we'll jump out to that, and that should work out. Then we finish all the high areas over the next 2 weekends, we're already in line of getting that insulation for the lower roof area, we'll be button that up quickly here.
You still anticipate there being a noise issue after hours?
As of right now, the plan is to continue with the quiet work, the detailing stuff throughout the day, during the school week, and then again to do the loud stuff on a first shift basis. And then come the following week, do just the detailing around that we'll get doing there.
Best case scenario, completion date?
Best case scenario, I'm going to say October 1, just because we're going to get that reconciliation on the 15th for the lower roof area, which hopefully, barring an unforeseen circumstance, on that roof, that was the worst roof out there. We might find some decking needs to be replaced, but as long as we don't find too much of that, we should be able to get that done in a couple of weeks. This contract has been working with us just to put a couple crews on it. Like I said, they've been working overtime and working on the weekends just to try to get this done as quickly and painless as possible for the district.
The other active construction going on right now is with the energy performance construction. That's being managed through Siemens, who's the energy performance contractor on that. CSR is a sub-consultant with them for the project. So what's been going on this summer is a lot of lighting upgrades in all of the district educational buildings. You can see as you drive up, the solar field is huge. You're going to have a big solar field coming up the hill that's underway. That work is continuing, and I'll check with Rusty. I'm not sure when the final completion date is on that project, but I can verify. Any questions?
I just want to say, it's been my experience with you guys since I got here. It's been a pleasure to work with you. Very responsive, on top of things. I think this is a great plan. I think this project is really going to position the district well in so many different ways. So nice job putting this together, Caitlin, you and your team. The engagement of stakeholders has been out, and Mike and Bob, you guys have always been great, very communicative with my team. So thank you very much.
It's two ways, sir. Thank you. Yeah, we get a lot of great response from the district. A lot of people, especially the local administrators in each of the buildings, were very responsive and engaged in the process. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
We have the best district keeper, I'm sure Mike can say the same. Thank you guys, have a good night.
Next item on the agenda, we have the oath of office for our student board member, Marilyn Christman, and our alternate student board member, Asa Masri.
Well, I'll just stand up, I'll read this off, and you can repeat after me. I do solemnly swear. It's both of you. All right. I'll start. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, that I will faithfully discharge according to the best of my ability the duties of the position of which I am now assigned. Awesome. Thank you. Congratulations. Sit in your seats anymore, Marilyn. You're welcome. You can bring companies to share.
All right, we'll move on to the next item, which is public comment. Do we have anyone here for public comment tonight? Move on to board discussion. We have one item, minutes from the August 16th meeting. Any questions or comments on those? Motion to approve those by John, seconded by Mike. All in favor? Anyone else have anything else for board discussion tonight? Moving right along, the superintendent's report.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. I'll try to be brief. Since the first day of school went well, we had some obviously traffic delays we typically get. There was construction on Lincoln Street, led to some bottleneck here in middle school, high school this morning. Roof Boulevard, some issues with transportation, shuttle, and some students who were missed on assignment for pickup. So those are not unusual. Obviously, the construction is on Lincoln Street something more of a bottleneck than we would normally get. But the first few days are typically chaotic a little bit in this regard. As long as they're safe, it's good. The high school program went well, and maybe they'll speak to that in their report. When I saw the students were well engaged outside the team building activities, I commend Dr. Mellon and Mr. Bai putting that together. Middle school had a good first day, and reports back from elementary were the same. So all in all, happy with our first day of school. Students very compliant with the masking, social distancing mandates. I think everybody seems to be pretty happy to be back to some sense of normalcy. Our athletics are going well. Our football team had a nice win against Johnstown over the weekend. Boys soccer team just won today. I have not heard about the other teams, but our numbers are low, as the district has stated, but that's not a Gloversville issue, that's typical across the country. So hopefully get COVID behind us sooner than later. Students can be involved in athletics and extracurricular, and we can start building momentum up. I've said it 100 times, athletes graduate, so we want our students playing extracurricular sports and be involved in clubs and things like that. So that's certainly a goal of ours, is to continue encouraging students to participate in extracurriculars. We're still hiring. Today, Dr. Majeski and I had 2 interviews, and one of the candidates actually on tonight's agenda, high school guidance position, that we appreciate the board for a late addition to this agenda. Federal stimulus money has made it a competitive and hard hiring season. So the influx of this federal money has made it such that a lot of districts are hiring, and people may have accepted the job in June, and next thing you know, they're declining the job in August. So that's frustrating. Even the first day of school, we had a candidate who took a position in the district. So really got to commend you, the building administration, pupil services for being reactive in a positive way and staying the course and getting good candidates in front of us. So we're happy with the people that we're appointing tonight, and we still have a few more positions to hire for. Transportation shortages are a real challenge, and we are continuing to struggle to find transportation for McKinney-Vento students, who might be a student who's homeless, living in another district. HFM boasts, if you don't have drivers, you don't have drivers. So we're going to private bidders. Kathy certainly worked hard at this. There's a number of vendors, but COVID has hit the transportation industry particularly hard in our business because a lot of people retire from whatever they've done most of their life. They want the insurance, so they'll take on a position as a bus driver and not work too many hours, but you have health insurance. But if your health is at risk because you don't want to catch COVID because you're advanced in your age, some people choose to return to retirement. That puts districts in a tough position. So we are working. I contacted a fellow superintendent of the district, and we're going to lead on at least one of those 3 students to hopefully provide transportation as soon as possible. Recent guidance from New York State Education Department, New York State Department of Health. If the board has any questions about that, I think I sent the guidance last week. The state has been, I think, intentionally vague on some of these matters. Last year we had hundreds of pages of regulations of reopening, and this year a few pages. So your guess is as good as mine for why that changed. We have 12 months of seeing how COVID has not transmitted in our schools, but we are dealing with a new variant. So with it being high in our county, in our region, we went to universal masking in an effort to limit the contagion and also to put us in a better position for quarantine. People are masked up, especially unvaccinated students. The regulations state that they don't need to quarantine. So that's a major change from last year, and obviously shows their commitment to ensuring that students have the ability to stay in-person instruction, which we would all concur is in their best interest. Just wanted to give a shout out to the Government Police Department for the new initiative, Cops and Kicks for Kids. It's on the back page of it. Email from Andy Slezak that explains it. And GPD is collecting donations and purchasing sneakers for kids. We all know that some of our students do not have proper footwear, and the district is partnering with the police department and other agencies to try to provide footwear for those students who need it most. So they commend the Clarksville Police Department for that initiative. Testing, COVID testing, one of the parts of the state guidance that is still being developed, and the federal money came into this through grants HFM is overseeing, is the necessity to test students and staff to monitor the spread of COVID in our schools. It's the only way we're going to stay open. Knowledge is power, and we need to know who may have it, even if a student or staff member is asymptomatic, vaccinated or unvaccinated. We really encourage parents to sign the forms allowing us to test their children. How that'll get set up, it'll be communicated to parents before we ever test anybody. We're not just going to start testing kids without parental permission. I don't understand, frankly, why anybody would deny a student their child to be tested. I understand people have different opinions on vaccinations, on the effectiveness of masks, but testing is clearly non-invasive. We put out videos on it to show just how non-invasive that is. So a person who refuses to have their child tested is just being recalcitrant, in my opinion, for absolutely no reason. So we are going to continue encouraging parents to allow their children to be tested because it is with the safety of all in mind we do this. It's not to pull them out of class and put a swab in their nose just for the heck of it. It is to inform us to keep them safe, to keep our schools open for in-person learning. That simple. So more information will be coming out on our initiatives and our efforts to get as many people signed up for testing as possible. And I asked Assistant Superintendent Wodeski to speak to the board on where he's at with curriculum and SEL work.
Thanks, David. First and foremost, I certainly appreciate the warm welcome I received from the faculty and staff throughout the past couple of weeks. This is day 11 on the job. I'll be back for day 12 tomorrow. So it's been nice seeing so many familiar faces, some that I haven't seen for many years. And as Mr. Allen said, we had a really successful opening to the new school year today. And in my conversations with our principals and a few staff members, everything went as smoothly as we could have hoped. So it's very encouraging. Dave and I discussed letting the teachers settle in a little bit this week. Again, I'll convene our social-emotional learning committee, the professional development committee, and our curriculum council, which will be focusing on the horizontal and vertical alignment of curriculum across all subject areas and grade levels throughout the district. So I'll certainly be sure to keep you apprised of all those developments, those various ventures throughout the school year. Thanks.
Any questions for Chris McPhee?
I just want to say, Dave, thank you for putting out those videos. I know that some of the small city requests, I thought they came out great. I appreciate the time out for the Osama and the nurses and, the children that volunteered to be the ones to demonstrate, put in, I know for my family, it's something I could use to see that video and just see how non-facing it really is. So I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Thank you. Our pleasure. Any other questions? That concludes it.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is administrative reports. We'll start with item 5, high school summer program.
Good evening. I provided a copy of my report. Sorry, Gail, I told you it wasn't going to, I passed it out to everybody, so you have it. I saw you have a very full agenda. You probably don't want to hear me speak. So, but I will highlight some things. And the first off was most schools across the country could not conduct summer school this year. Couldn't do it. Mr. Allen sent articles, as he often does, educational stuff all over it, and lots of articles from all over. South Dakota, California, nobody could man their summer school programs because of the burnout. They were retiring, they were being offered cash bonuses plus the hourly salary, they couldn't do it. Including in our area, to the best of my knowledge, I looked around the end of June, nobody's having summer school. So the fact that 37 Loversville high school teachers stepped up is praiseworthy. I just could not be proud of our staff. They just, and it's not the money, because they all got money, and they all were offered money. Our students love our kids, and I want to publicly thank our teachers because they're great. So we initially had about 250 students, at least worse, that were invited to summer school. Those families received at least 4 phone calls trying to get them in, for the summer school program, because it's very important to get them back to meet their classmates, get them back acclimated to school again. And in fact, I sent 2 letters to students who hadn't been engaged, particularly in courses that they were going to be exempt from a Regents exam. Students were sitting home and they could have been taking classes and they would have been exempt from Regents, and I'm afraid that option's now out the window. But be that as may, we had an outstanding summer school program. Probably, I never heard of before, we covered everything. Normal summer school is your core classes, that's it. You don't get local, you don't get art, you don't get technology, you don't get those classes, even gym in regular summer school. Today, they were already done. I outlined where the other 12 were, why they didn't graduate in the report. We don't need to go over it, but there's some circumstances. The other 8 are still enrolled in school. They're back enrolled, some today, and I anticipate at least half of them will be graduating in January. Some just don't have a grad yet, so they'll need to. Highlights, of course, the trip to the Great Escape was a great success. 263 students